We're living in a gold rush, but instead of chasing gold, we're chasing something far less valuable. Internet clout. What is clout? What is its origins? Clout is basically internet attention. They're attention points, good boy internet points to let you know that you matter somewhere to someone. Clout's origins are actually quite humble. It began by simply posting shit online. If it got popular, it got popular. If it didn't, you weren't really all the different for it. You didn't care very much. But now, 10 years after the invention of clout, people covet the clout, worship it. They aren't whole without it. If you go to school these days and you have less than 1,000 followers on Twitter or Instagram, do you even matter? Probably get bullied fucking wedgies, fucking swirlies in the toilet bowl, I imagine. How far would you go for the clout? Would you shoot your significant other with a .50 caliber round for a YouTube prank that was supposed to be a viral video, but instead you executed them on the spot? Perhaps, maybe. Or would you be like Dan Sullivan, the man we're about to look at today, Madman Dan? Dan Sullivan is an aspiring internet sensation. He's an affluent teenager who cruises around in his father's Benz, films shitty videos, and is really trying his best to pretend to be a comic book supervillain, but only if that supervillain was really into bestiality. Dan Sullivan's attempt at gaining some internet clout was by posting a video titled, "I Make Out With My Dog," where he makes out with his dog while moaning and calling him his husband. He posts a disturbing video hoping that it would pop off and capitalize on bestiality enthusiasts or just fucking degenerates in general, or make him a bad guy, because I guess in his mind, any publicity is good publicity. At least that's the phrase that a lot of people like to toss around.
It's Dan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My husband with me. His name is Luis, and I love him so very much.
Oh, you a little feisty boy.
The video's around 4 minutes and it's super fucking gross to watch. At one point the dog tries to escape but is forced back by Dan. It's like something out of a fucking horror movie, really. And like I said, these kind of people subscribe to the idea that any publicity is good publicity, which I truly believe was just a meme started on 4chan to troll delusional, lunatic, fucking dumbass idiots like Dan into making shitty, cringy content for them to mock, because that phrase is remarkably inaccurate. Negative publicity kills careers, and it does it all the time. Yeah, sometimes in businesses that are too big to fail, like Nestle, it doesn't really matter the publicity because it's still going to succeed. The same is not true for a fucking 10,000 subscriber YouTube channel. His channel's not small, not by any means really, and this kind of shit is what kills a channel like that right from the get-go. You don't grow from having a reputation as a dog fucker. That's not, and why would you even want that reputation to begin with? Dan Sullivan is the result of what happens when your dad gives you money instead of attention. You crave it elsewhere, but he doesn't have the talent to make anything good, so he does what could be shocking: make out with his dog, cruise around in his father's Bentley, shitting in his diapers, pretending that he doesn't care about the hate comments he gets. Negative publicity ends careers constantly. Look at Brooke Hoots, or Houts, I already forgot how to say her name. She's the girl from a few months ago who abused her dog on camera. Her channel's fucked. Her whole career online is fucked. She was a hugely exploding channel at the time, and now she has nowhere to go. She's gonna have to get a 9-to-5 job. In Dan's case, his golden toilet and silver platter upbringing probably prevents him from even knowing what a real job looks or feels like, and judging from his fucking scrawny physique, he probably doesn't even have the strength capable of scanning groceries across the fucking register. And perhaps he won't need a job. You know, maybe he could just live off his dad's hemorrhoid money for the rest of his life if he needs to. I don't know how wealthy his family is, but judging from his videos, he comes from an extremely privileged background. But it's very clear that something is missing if you're going on camera to get sexual with your dog.
You're a sick motherfucker.
What's up, you guys? Hi, it's Dan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Even just listening to one of his videos is a challenge in and of itself. He really tries super hard to pretend that he's extroverted and outgoing, so he overcompensates by being extremely fucking loud. And he has this downright pathetic intro where he snorts a straw in a Starbucks cup and then says, you know, welcome to my channel, takes a drink. It's fucking awful. And the majority of the shit that he makes is just him complaining about his haters. You know, why do people hate me? I don't get it. I just fucked my dog on camera. Oh, how can people be so sensitive? I'm sorry if I offended you. Sorry, not sorry. Ha ha ha, I laugh in the face of my haters because I get to suckle on mommy and daddy's teats of money. Truthfully, walking a mile in this dude's shoes must kind of suck, just being stuck in the shadow of your parents for your entire life and never being able to break out and have a face or voice of your own. So I guess it makes sense that he'd lash out with horribly shit content like making out with his dog and just being a fucking general pest on the internet, but that doesn't make it excusable. It's this quest for internet clout that corrupts the minds of people like this that are already troubled from their upbringing of being ignored and feeling like their self-worth is pretty low. They can't find the self-esteem on their own, so they try to find it in other conduits like online in the form of likes and views. And also, let me just make a quick PSA to the people that'll inevitably go to his channel to dislike his videos. Don't do that shit. This dislike brigade where you think that you're some kind of justice vanguard who goes to the channels and dislikes their videos, you're not helping anyone and you're not hurting anyone. If anything, you're helping the channel you're going to by just giving them more attention and more views. Even though that is ephemeral, it is still a quick boost to the channel in general. If you really want to fight against a channel that you think absolutely does not deserve to be popular online, you do that by ignoring it, not by going out of your way to find every video just to leave a dislike.
So I understand that she gets a lot of hate as well, so it doesn't really surprise me that I'm getting hate too for like trying to copy her. It really doesn't bother me. Like honestly, you guys, as sick as this sounds, at least I'm getting the attention out of it. Like that really is the entire point. And
Yeah, you don't have to take my armchair psychology lesson at face value. He outright tells you he only does this stuff for attention and views. And in general, I find that to be very sad, this insatiable appetite a lot of people get for internet attention. But again, for someone like Dan, it's hard to feel any sympathy for them when they go and make a video that looks to be animal abuse, just outright abusing their animal. That's what it looks like. That's the kind of video that it came across as. And he has also done some other scummy shit in his videos and done some very questionable things on other content. So in general, I just think Dan is the perfect example for this desire for a lot of people to get internet attention by any means necessary, and I think that shit sucks. That's it. See ya. The world is still being bent over and spanked by the coronavirus pandemic, but today I want to focus on an equally large and growing disease. This is one I don't believe the WHO has recognized as a pandemic yet, but it's not far off, I imagine. It's called clout chasing. We've talked about this before when I mentioned the YouTuber who was making out with his dog for internet points. There was also the man who was executed by his girlfriend at point blank range with a Desert Eagle because it was supposed to be a viral video for internet clout. This shit is wild. People are dying, people are becoming dumber, all in the pursuit of internet clout. It's an ailment that's mainly afflicting the youth because a lot of the younger generation just has their entire lives online. They just exist in the cyberspace. So they're trying to emulate YouTubers even though they only see a weekly prank video from them, so they're trying to live their life like that. They'll get all of their social information from Twitter and Reddit, so these younger people are literally being trained to be losers. Their father figure will be some Reddit shitposter named 2Beans1Cream who's giving him advice on the Red Pill subreddit. It's sad shit. These people view internet clout as like this holy grail, this elixir, near panacea, that once you achieve enough internet clout, everything is perfect in your life and you're totally healed and fulfilled. You could be the saddest, most greased up loser, but if you have enough internet clout, you're perfect. That's at least the belief that a lot of people have, which is why some so desperately dedicate their lives to getting imaginary internet points and clout. Today we're going to talk about one such person. Her name is Ava, and she is most well known for the coronavirus challenge that she started. I'm sure that video isn't new to any of you. You've probably all seen it by now, and if you've been on the internet for a long time, it's also not surprising or shocking that someone would do that. It's kind of like Goatsy. When I was young, Goatsy was like the craziest shit. Like that's something that would make you like fucking close your eyes, puke, and just go wild. Like, oh, I can't believe I just saw that. And now all of a sudden, Goatsy, it's like almost safe for work content. Like you could have Goatsy as a Twitter profile picture and no one would bat an eye. It's still just sad to see someone stoop that low just for a crumb of attention, just a tiny morsel of internet clout that they can try and sink their little teeth into. It's just pathetic stuff. As you can imagine, spoiler alert, the attention was so ephemeral that no one even knows her name, which is good. So the only thing people know from, or remember her for, her legacy for the rest of her life, is just going to be the fucking idiot that tasted 1,000 dirty buttholes on a plane by licking a toilet seat. That's not exactly the coolest legacy to have, I imagine, but hopefully the 2 days worth of attention was enough. The reason why I'm even bringing this up now is because I'm seeing a lot of this on Twitter especially. I've seen a couple people licking toilet seats. One of them, I believe, got arrested and the Twitter account banned. So she did actually start some shit to try and influence people to doing some dumb shit for coronavirus pranks, challenges, whatever. So I figured I'd use her as the example here to talk about just how shitty clout chasing is and what a waste of time and life it is to pursue imaginary numbers on the internet. So let's show you a little bit more from Ava.
Hi to all of you stupid skanks who know that I still don't fucking have corona. I have something though, because I think I'm coming down with something, because I just feel so hot, rich, and iconic, and if those are the symptoms of something, then bitch, I'm ill!
A real zinger from Ava there, as she continues her mission to be the most unlikable person on the internet. This is her most recent life update posted on her YouTube channel of 6,000 subs. Not the smallest number in the world, but not exactly knocking on the door to being famous, so her little clout chasing stunt didn't really pan out the results she was looking for. She tries to pull off this pseudo-ironic, sarcastic approach to everything she does and says, you know, rich, famous, and iconic. But she doesn't do it well. It just makes you dislike her even more, because she's very clearly not self-aware enough to get the joke or make it into a joke. She herself is the joke, and she just makes it clear she wants to continue to be the punching bag as long as it gets her any kind of attention, which is just super sad.
Sweaty cottage cheese ass not leaving the couch. So yeah, he's been coming over and piping me this whole quarantine. The only thing about quarantine that's making me upset is I can't go get Botox, but otherwise I'm really happy because all the restaurants are closed, so I'm getting super skinny. That's all I want to say. Bye.
It's hard to find even a single quality to admire about Ava. Her approach to pretty much anything she does is perhaps one of the worst approaches you could take. She's been on Dr. Phil 3 times, the most recent one obviously being about the Corona Challenge shit. Ava, this part's for you. You've been on Dr. Phil 3 times and your shit is still not blowing up. Why the fuck are you still trying? Internet clout is clearly not in your future. It's not in the cards for you. Dr. Phil is like the one direction for the internet. Anyone on the internet that associates with Dr. Phil blows the fuck up. Except for you. You are the outlier. The shit you say and the way you conduct yourself is so unlikable that not even Dr. Phil could accidentally find you an audience. So stop being an asshole. Let's take a look at the Dr. Phil clip.
You then went to spring break and hung out on the beach with a bunch of people.
I was fine. I made out with a bunch of people. I was not hygienic. I acted like a degenerate. My immune system was down from all the drinking and drugs. And I should have coronavirus, but I don't.
Yeah, there's just no justice in the world. She didn't get coronavirus, but I'm pretty confident in saying someone around her most likely did, and I just really hope it wasn't someone of the older demographic and susceptible to it.
And they pick up your germs. You're putting their life at danger so you can entertain yourself, and that is ridiculously selfish and ridiculously irresponsible so you can have 15 minutes of fame.
Well, that's their problem, first of all, not mine.
When I first heard this segment, I was actually convinced she was just an actress that Dr. Phil hired just to get some easy ratings or views or something. But as it turns out, this is real. This is her being genuine. She's just actually this stupid. So she's honest at least. You can say a lot of things about Ava, but let it not be said that she's shy. Because she's not afraid to come out here and show the world how dumb she is. She has no shame.
It's not their problem. You're the one that's doing it.
No, you know what's ridiculously irresponsible and selfish is that your generation only cares about this virus because it affects you. No one cares when it affects younger people. They just say it's our fault. You guys are the ones dying of it, not us.
Just an outright wrong statement, which isn't surprising because I'm pretty sure she's illiterate. Everyone's being affected by it and young people are dying from it. So, I mean, it's just wrong and she's just, again, wrong. But she does have an attitude that I've seen a lot of people on Twitter have at least, where it's just all about themselves and just whatever kind of joy they can give themselves and just throwing caution to the wind. They don't give a fuck about anyone else. And I think that shit sucks. I think that's a terrible mindset to have.
It affects boomers. If it affects young people, you guys just find a way to blame us. But yet this pandemic's affecting all of you, so you're locking everyone down and instilling fear globally.
Young people are dying from this as well. Do you even know how to spell science?
Dr. Phil had the same hunch I did, and I think that's extremely cute.
Duh. I'm a senior at Rutgers, and now I don't get to graduate.
I mean, nothing's happening, which is fine. Like, it's not like I really went to class. This whole thing's a joke. Like.
So you think this is all a hoax created by Twitter? That's what you're saying?
I think, yeah. Well, one, Clout started this virus. A bunch of girls in China started eating exotic animals for views on YouTube. And I know for a fact that those bats probably do not taste good. They just wanted to shock people. And like, I get it because I'm a clout chaser myself. So this started a pandemic.
During that whole little codename Kids Next Door monologue she goes on there, I felt like it was scripted. I felt like it was just a joke put together by Dr. Phil, just to farm a little bit of controversy, and I just, snap my fingers and say, you got me good on that one, Dr. Phil-a-Rooney, I've been had. But again, I looked into her, and from everything I've seen, this is just her. That is how she acts, behaves, believes. That is genuinely her whole personality she put on display right there, which made me real sad, because I thought as like a piece of reality TV, like make-believe, I thought it was pretty entertaining, but the fact that there are people that think like her, and there are people that support her, they're not super hard to find, they're very few in number, but there's a few. I think that shit sucks. I think that shit's terrible. Now, for the coronavirus challenge prank, she did clarify on Dr. Phil, it wasn't a public plane toilet seat. She said it was her sugar daddy's private plane that she bleached and then licked. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's just the desperation of it alone is enough to be just truly pitiful. But anyway, I think Ava is just the poster child for what clout chasing does to someone. Her entire life revolves around it. It's just a real sad shit, really pathetic trend that I've talked about before, but with coronavirus coming around now on the internet side of things, people are taking that and using that as a platform to try and gain some quick little attention through some truly just despicable garbage like Ava did. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. Hey, I'm home, back from the little Christmas vacation that I took to a basement up north, a basement that I wanted to be in, and I came home and thought, what better way to celebrate the holidays? Quite like hopping on TikTok and watching some TikTok moms do goofy dances while their children die in front of them at the hospital. Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. It's become a little bit of a trend this holiday season for these narcissistic TikTok moms that are terminally addicted to posting cringe on TikTok to go to the hospital where their children are struggling to survive and do dances on top of them. Like, not on top of them, they're not like literally dancing on their fucking corpse or anything, but do dances next to them. So it's a video of these TikTok moms with their sick child, and they're just doing these fucking whipping and nay-naying, hitting the fucking stanky leg and shit, while their kids are dying. Now, admittedly, that last part's a bit of an exaggeration. Not every single one of these videos is the kid in a life or death situation, but all of them are sick because they're in the hospital at the ICU. And the moms all use this as a way of getting some updoots on the platform. And they always say, like, a mother's love for their child is the strongest, most powerful thing in the world. That's a fucking lie. A mother's love for TikTok likes is significantly stronger. And I'm only going to show you one of the videos from this trend, the biggest one by far. And as always, don't go harass the person or any shit like that. Now, what you just witnessed was the patient zero of this trend. This is the one that really kicked it all off. Now, I'm no epidemiologist, so I can't really plot it super well, but from everything I can see, this was one of the first and definitely the biggest in this trend. So this is a mom that's busting it wide open, hitting the Gangnam Style while her infant is diagnosed with RSV and struggling to breathe on their own. RSV stands for respiratory something virus. I can't remember the S. Respiratory selfish mom virus. I don't remember. But oftentimes it's not fatal. It's something that does occur pretty frequently from what I remember. Now, that's not to say that it's trivial, because it can be fatal. So it's not exactly a diagnosis that you'd hear and start wiggling your finger and celebrating. Oh, my kid's got a respiratory virus? Oh, hot dog! The first instinct of any mother shouldn't be to fire up the camera for TikTok clout to capitalize off the situation, but it's become so poisonous to people's mental health that they feel everything is a prop. I really feel like a lot of the parents on TikToks use their kids as props for their own narcissism, so that way they can get likes out of it or get some pats on the back like, oh, great parenting, you're doing wonderful. It's really sickening, honestly. I just think so many people have been brainwashed by the fucking stupidity on the platform that they think something like this is okay or normal. It's just been so ingrained in their DNA at this point. We care more about TikTok likes than like the health of our own family, it seems. Because there are people that defend it like this is a coping mechanism. In fact, this is really good for the infant because they'll see the mother's positive vibes, she's dancing, it's nothing serious. And while there is some merit to that, keeping a positive attitude in a bad situation, you don't need to fire up TikTok for it. How does that help the kid? Is the kid going to get the revenue from that? Is he going to, directly benefit from you making this all about yourself and your dance? It doesn't make any sense because it's not helping that kid. Keeping a positive attitude, great. And if you want to dance and maybe put a smile on their face, wonderful. But she wasn't doing this for the kid. She was doing this for her audience. Now, overwhelmingly, the response to this was negative, even on TikTok. So she responded by taking down the video and apologizing for it, while also trying to justify it by saying we don't know what she was going through. But I still think under no circumstances is there justification for trying to get TikTok clout out of an awful situation like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see how you could defend it, but anyway, she did take it down, and it started a trend though, regardless. Before it was taken down, there was a lot of these videos. I'm not going to share any of the other ones, but there is one that I want to talk about in particular. It was a lady who was doing, again, another goofy dance in front of their child who was in the ICU for some other respiratory illness. I think it was like some big asthma thing. I don't quite remember now. But her response when there was inevitable backlash was, fuck you guys, this is why people kill themselves. And the kill themselves was like caps locked. So she was blaming everyone else for getting mad at her. She just immediately starts playing the victim and blaming everyone else who was just calling out shitty narcissistic parenting and then trying to guilt everyone like, this is why people killed themselves, it's your fault. She'd find a way to blame TikTok if she hit her kid with her own car. It was baffling to see that kind of response when people were just pointing out that this was not okay. It's not bullying, it's not frowned upon to point out awful behavior from parents like this. If I had footage of my mom fucking Harlem shaking while I was in the hospital with something going wrong, I would be pissed. I would feel so disgusted. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this since I saw it this afternoon, and it's a pretty fucking gross trend, as is the norm on TikTok. That's about it. So yeah. Hey asshole, I've got 2 important questions for you. How far would you go for a sponsorship? And how far would you go for YouTube views? Would you crash a plane? Would you commit a felony? Huh? If your answer to that question is no, then you're a pussy and a coward. Take it from my man Trevor, who recently possibly crashed his plane on purpose for the sake of a viral YouTube video, which was also a sponsorship deal. It's a pretty wild story and one that I've been following actively since the day it was posted, which was about 13 days ago now. So just to break it down, I'll go ahead and play some footage quickly. An extreme YouTuber named Trevor, who's known for doing extreme shit like piloting, parachuting, skateboarding. I swear to God, this dude will finger blast your girlfriend while hitting a kickflip. He recently posted a video called I Crashed My Plane, and in the video he takes his friend's ashes and says he's going to spread them over his favorite mountains, but while on the flight, something goes awry. The engine stalls and he immediately abandons ship and just bails out of the plane. It honestly looks like in a video game when you press the wrong button when piloting, you just accidentally jump out. And then he makes sure to get his GoPro and selfie stick ready so he gets some awesome footage of him skydiving basically from the plane that is inevitably going to crash. And while watching this, it seems like a scene right out of the Power Rangers movie from the early 2000s with Ivan Ooze, where the Rangers skydive, but they're hitting all these gnarly tricks on a surfboard. That's the exact same vibe I got from this part. And then he parachutes, he lands, and then he hikes up to the crashed plane to observe the wreckage. And you can see it's completely totaled, it crashed into the side of the mountain, and then he's just kind of talking about it and then hikes back to civilization. Now I watched this on stream last night, that's twitch.tv/MoistCr1tikal. I stream every day, come stop by, it's the only stream guaranteed to get you laid. I'll put a link in the description. And while watching it with chat, we were just kind of going over everything, and then I watched a video that kind of talks about all of the things that are wrong with it. I'm no pilot, I'm really fucking dumb when it comes to aircrafts and everything, but there's a lot wrong with the video that the actual pilots have pointed out, and a couple of them that I'd like to just mention right away is almost no pilot flies with a parachute. That is very alarming for most pilots to see, apparently. And even he himself never flies with a parachute. In all of his other videos, he's never wearing one while piloting. He also doesn't really try to do anything to solve the problem when it stalls. It also stalls at a very convenient cruising altitude. And instead of trying to actually fix the problem, he just immediately bails out. And as another YouTuber pointed out, it's very suspicious that while something has gone wrong with the engine, we never see inside of the cockpit. All the cameras, like there's 12 cameras on this fucking thing. It's like a goddamn complete 360 video basically of all the camera coverage. But not a single time while the engine is apparently malfunctioning do we see anything in the cockpit. We only get the outside exterior shots of him about to jump out. So that was another very suspicious thing. A couple other pilots pointed out weird things that they noticed in the cockpit itself before everything goes wrong, and just so many things that make this video very suspicious. Seeing the YouTuber who crashed the plane for views? Yeah! I actually saw that the day he posted it. Someone sent me it in an email. Yeah, his name's Trevor Jacobs, the guy who crashed this plane. He still got it up, too. Oh, he turned off comments. You coward. Oh, you blew it, Trevor. You blew it. Yeah, so this dude... I mean, I'll let it play. Thanks for some bees. So, to break it down, well, you know, let me just let it play and then we can go over it. I watched this the day it was posted, though. I was on the forefront of this drama. Why, though? There's a couple theories. Most people think he did it just for the sponsorship, since it's a Ridge Wallet sponsorship. So he wanted it to have good views, so that way he'd get other sponsorships from them. Like, oh, look at how well this video performed for us. That's like the leading theory. But then the other theories is just wanting the attention. That insatiable appetite for some updates.
What's happening? How's it going? My name's Trevor Jacob. Super grateful he'll be joining us.
Says in the video the engine fails. Okay, so I can already see people coming in here like, no, Charlie, this is completely legitimate. So let's go over a couple of things, and I'll play the corresponding clips. So it's around right here, where the engine stalls. Everything's gone wrong. Catastrophes happened. Every pilot's worst nightmare, next to like getting hit by an anti-air missile. And his first instinct is to jump out of the plane. He doesn't try and fix anything. He literally just leaps immediately. Which is quite literally, from what I understand, the last thing anyone should ever do as a pilot. There's a whole checklist of things they do before even considering this. And also, no pilots fly with a parachute normally. And neither does this guy. He only flew with a parachute in this video, and this video alone. All the other videos with him piloting a plane, he is not wearing a parachute. I love the way he exits the plane, though. And luckily it stalled at a nice cruising altitude. Dropping tilted towers. Yeah. Another thing a lot of people pointed out is while he's falling, you can see a ton of places that he could have potentially landed this plane. I'm not a pilot. So the reason I never even bothered talking about it is because I don't know fuck all about it. There were people a lot smarter than me that really dissected this and pointed out all of the bullshit. And this is a felony, crashing a plane on purpose. This is a really big deal. So obviously it generated a lot of waves in the actual community of pilots. So again, he never wore a parachute when piloting any of the other planes that he has flown in. Yet he claims that he always wears one, which is just a blatant lie.
That's why I always freaking fly with a parachute.
No which he doesn't. Service. Yep. So this was obviously a big deal. I saw it when it happened. But there are so many things wrong with this. There's almost no realm where this is legitimate. Unless, of course, he quite honestly is the worst pilot to ever live, I suppose.
So Trevor's airplane that you normally see him flying in.
With no parachute?
Red and white experimental airplane with the tail number. You can tell, like, it's very obvious that it's a different plane.
The guy jumped out of his airplane like he reached the map limit.
You can clearly
see
the registration. We've got Santa Barbara and Santa Ynez.
Man, he's so lucky it didn't just miss the mountains and crash into a town. Like, holy fuck.
And then It does seem like the numbers have been painted over or obscured in some way, though, because you can never get a clear
Why
shot
would that help his case,
and
though?
see what the numbers actually say.
If you can't see the numbers, why is that helpful to him? Because they can't track the flight.
Where's your paraglider? Where's
But how does that
luggage?
how does that help them if they can't track the flight? Can't they just watch this and pretty much plot the flight like this YouTuber did? I don't see how it's not. I don't see that how it helps them though. For no room for speculate. Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah. I suppose. It just feels stupid because if he's gonna film this whole thing, he should obviously know that they can find his course. He shows him leaving the airport, and like that's probably if 4chan can find Shia LaBeouf's flag in the middle of fucking nowhere by airplane routes and constellations, I'm sure the FAA could probably figure out where this dumb asshole was going and what mountains he crashed into, considering there was only 2 possible locations nearby.
So if we take a look at the
Oh my god.
flight
What am I looking at?
we have right
the
here,
fuck?
Lompoc, he said that his destination
Oh my god, Jesus,
all the way
fuck.
up here. So this
He's-
is where he started. This is there.
We're in the mainframe.
I felt like he needed to say something. A lot of other people have questions too.
That's another thing I noticed. The actual pilot community is for some reason like the most respectful and nicest community of all time that I've ever seen on the internet. Like in the comments before you disabled them, all the pilots that knew this was bullshit, they were like, well, there's a lot of inconsistencies with what I'm seeing here. I'd like to trust you, and I think against my better judgment I will, but here's everything that's clearly wrong about everything here. And even this guy's video, which is basically an exposed video, amounts to him just saying like, yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's probably just, about a lot of weird things happening. Yeah, plain people just seem super nice. And this exposed video is so big brain, I couldn't even understand half of the things he used to debunk the voice crack bullshit. For me, I knew it was garbage when someone sent it to me, and the first thing the dude did was just bail out of the plane like it was fucking GTA. He tried no troubleshooting at all from a cruising altitude where he had plenty of time to at least try and like restart the engine or like glide it to a landing nearby or anything. He's just like, yep, I'm fucking out. Peace. And then he has also one of the worst actors I've seen in a minute when he's like hiking through the place. He's like, freaking, oh my gosh, the freaking universe just saved me. The freaking universe is so good. This is why I always freaking parachute. I wonder if he's actually going to say anything about this at any point. I would imagine probably not. But he's kept the video up. So I wonder what's going to come from it. Again, it's a serious crime. Like a very serious crime. Low-key terrorist attack. I mean, it is, yeah, not super wrong. He just bails out of a plane and lets it crash. It could have crashed anywhere. He had no control over where that thing was going to crash, nor who was in the area nearby. And as we just saw in the last video, there's like a whole town that's not far from these mountains. And by not far, I mean they're literally right next to these mountains. Now, I didn't mention this on stream, but it's something I thought of right after ending stream. If this video didn't have the plane crash, then what was the purpose of the video? It's basically just a video of a guy flying his plane and then landing it. I guess the draw of the video could have been spreading his friend's ashes, but that's a very personal thing and not exactly like a viral piece of content. And Trevor's channel is full of nothing but extreme moments, like all of his piloting ones have like scary stories or taking people up that are very afraid, and it's all very like exciting stuff. Whereas if this video didn't have the plane crash, it's literally just him flying and then landing. And this has a sponsor on it. Sponsors typically want to be on a piece of content they're confident would perform well. A video where Trevor just flies and lands isn't exactly going to be something that really fucking pops off in the algorithm or anything like that. But a plane crash, well, that has the potential to really get wacky, and especially for a sponsorship, it'd be something they'd be confident in doing well. And I'm sure Trevor would have come up with a plan to make the content more exciting, considering all of his other content is, like, over the top. Whereas this one would have just been flying and landing. So it just seems really out of character, and there could be merit to that argument where, because it was a sponsorship, Trevor felt like he needed to do something bigger, so he came up with this plan of crashing the plane. Again, all of this could be completely genuine. Maybe all of this is real, the plane really malfunctioned, there was no saving it, so he bailed out. But with everything pointed out by the actual pilots in the community, as well as everything they were able to uncover, it seems unlikely. It seems more like this was a stunt to generate views and interest in his channel and content, which is pretty fucked up if that is the case. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. That's about it. So yeah. The insatiable appetite for internet affirmation that not only do you exist, but that you're special, drives people to do some wacky things. And one of the worst ways of getting this craved attention is through being a douchebag. And that's what I want to show you today. A young man so blinded by his low vitamin C levels, vitamin Clout, and in his desperate attempt to get this clout, decided to make an absolute fool out of himself on TikTok and ended up being its punching bag for about 24 hours because his whole idea was to just be an asshole.
Post Malone, you a bitch. You suck.
That's rude.
Thank you so much. You a bitch. You a bitch. Post Malone suck.
What you just witnessed is one of TikTok's biggest and toughest men. A man who's feared even at the salty spittoon. What a absolute fucking Chad. Going to Post Malone's fan signing where Post Malone was just meeting with fans, signing their things, talking with them, and this guy marches all up, puffs out his chest, and just starts being an asshole. That's the entire piece of content. And you can tell that this guy's not insecure because the second he started being rude to Post Malone, he immediately ran away. So you know he's not afraid of anything. This guy wakes up every morning and drinks a glass of rusty fucking nails. He's so tough. So yeah, Post Malone got drive-by heckled by a rejected Jonas brother who's desperately trying to get any amount of internet points that he can get. And I just find the whole situation super sad. Not just for Post Malone, but for this guy as well, because this is just such an embarrassing thing that I think any level of self-awareness will have him regretting immensely at this moment, I would hope. But Post Malone, even if you don't like his music, you have to recognize he is one of like the most authentic and genuinely kind people in the music industry. I like Post Malone's music, but I recognize not everyone will. But even if you don't, like every interview I've ever seen from him, all of his Twitch streams, because he streams on Twitch, or at least he used to stream pretty actively on Twitch, every interaction I've ever seen from him just portrays a really kind person. So to go out of your way to be mean to someone like that takes a special kind of delusional douchebag. And even in the video here, you can see him smiling and talking to fans. He smiles at the guy who's about to be rude to him. And when he gets insulted, he just looks like actually hurt. He's just like, that was rude. And then he just keeps piling it on. Like, I don't know how you don't feel bad after the first time, but he doubles down on the douchery and continues to insult him. And he's just, you know, Post Malone's like, that's just fucking rude. Why would you say that? Like, it's so, like, rough to watch. Now, I don't know much about this kid, but he looks pretty young. I'm sure he's still suckling off his parents' finances like a parasite in order to pay for his trips to the hair salon every 2 weeks in order to match whatever the most trendy TikTok hairstyle is. But I really think he should have saved some of his allowance for a better phone. Instead of just blowing it on White Claw, he probably should have just saved up for a phone that would record in something beyond 140p. This video looks like it's straight from 2009. I don't even know how you have video quality this dog shit, this turbo ass in 2022. You have to be extremely incompetent in order to make your phone look this shitty in this day and age. Now, the whole goal with this stunt was to go viral, and it did. Mission accomplished. It got over 6 million views and is still getting views. But I guess he just wasn't really ready for that because he ended up going in full baby meltdown mode and took down the video and made a really embarrassing post about how it wasn't actually him in the video, it was his friend. Now, is it possible that it's actually not him? Sure, I suppose. There's some universe out there in the multiverse where that happens to be the truth, but I don't think that's where we're at right now. I think in this reality, he's just using the lamest and oldest excuse in the book. This is like that textbook cringy shit we used to do growing up, where if you send a text message to a girl and you regret it or she doesn't respond, you're like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. That was my friend that sent that. Oh, but stupid friend. I don't know why he'd say that. I'm not weird. My friend did that. Don't get mad at me. Not exactly a watertight response here, and I would have expected someone that puts up this persona of, I'm so tough and, you know, I'm such a badass, I'll go insult anyone on the street. I would have expected them to just, like, embrace the villain role, but it seems like they're just not built for that. They immediately just fold and just crumple in on themselves here, which of course makes it even more embarrassing for them. But I want to use this as like a little example of the drive to make a viral video where you just throw away common sense in the pursuit of numbers. This guy knew that this would get some attention, and he probably knew there would be some level of hate that came with it where people would get upset about it, but he clearly wasn't ready for the full response he got. He was just so blinded by the pursuit of internet clout that he made a dumb fucking decision and made himself look like a complete asshole on the internet, and that'll follow him around forever if he continues to try and be a TikTok star. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to go over this just a little bit, and that's about it. So yeah, the desire for internet clout is an irresistible urge, an itch that must be scratched by any means necessary, including faking good deeds for the sake of the camera. I'm sure you've probably already seen what I'm about to talk about today since it went very viral. It's that couple that made dirty, stinky ramen in the back of their pickup truck and drove it around to feed the homeless, but it's clearly a fake staged video in order to make themselves look like saints, and they only drive it to one person who's a friend of theirs that's pretending to be homeless. It's pathetic. It's not meant as a joke, it's not meant to be satirical. This was clearly trying to capitalize off like a wholesome moment to get popularity. They were too lazy and couldn't even be bothered to do an actual good deed for someone in need, so instead they just faked the whole thing and wasted a ton of food in the process, like a ton of ramen. They started dumping in random ingredients like they were Professor Utonium trying to make the Powerpuff Girls, so they start fucking plopping in pounds of onion powder and all kinds of other shit. I wouldn't be surprised if they also started dumping in like raw plutonium. Like, it's just a foul concoction that they made, and they put it in the back of their pickup truck, and it is absolutely vile. A meth lab is cleaner than where they made this ramen. Did you see that lady on Twitter putting a bunch of warm ramen in the back of her pickup truck to feed the homeless? Oh my god, that shit was wacky, yeah. God, Jesus Christ. So the idea here was to be Meals on Wheels and feed the homeless with some ramen in their pickup truck. Such a good idea too, by the way. That's gonna make sure the ramen's nice and flavored with that beautiful fucking asphalt. She puts that on her feet to protect her feet and her jeans from getting dirty. Okay. Meanwhile, still just contaminating the fuck out of the ramen.
Feels good. Nice and warm. Alright. Okay, let's go.
What the actual fuck is she doing? She's trying to score those internet wholesome points. See, she's trying to get like those what a great person kind of shit going. But it's obviously a terrible idea, one. And two, she doesn't even actually feed homeless people with it. She has one of her friends pretend to be homeless and eat out of it like a fucking pig at a trough. Like, it's just embarrassing. It's so fucking cringe.
Kevin, hey, look.
Oh, there! A homeless person, I see one. Let's use him as a prop in our video.
Yeah.
But the plot twist, it's not a homeless person. It's just their friend. Look at him, he's putting his heart and soul into this performance. Need cash. Lounging on a pile of rocks. Because all homeless people choose the most uncomfortable places to lay down, obviously. If they're not laying on rocks, they're laying on broken glass. So, you know, they found a real homeless person in the wild here.
We only have $20, but we have some ramen noodles we can give you, man.
Oh,
ramen noodles? Yeah, they're actually back in the truck bed. They're fresh, they're hot. We just made a ton of ramen noodles and we're just driving around giving it to people.
Oh, yummy! Dump truck ramen. Yippee!
It must be pretty good. Hey, there you go, man.
Hey, can I have a second bowl?
You want a second bowl?
Oh, please.
Bless your heart.
Hey,
of course you
if you want, man. Hey, and I know your hands are full, but I also want to give you $20. So here, I just put it in your pocket. There you go. Enjoy the noodles. Thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, wait, no, I want to watch you take a bite. Come on. We worked hard on that pickup truck ramen. Oh, fuck, I didn't remember him actually eating it. He spit that shit out and violently puked, I bet. Just, you know, sometimes it's the little things, the good deeds from the good people, like this woman and her husband. To stage a feeding the homeless video for some TikTok points, you gotta love it. I was actually wrong. This wasn't done for TikTok clout. It was actually done for something even more meaningless. Facebook attention. Facebook updates and page likes. If you started downloading pictures of spit as NFTs right now, that would hold more value than Facebook likes. And that was the whole motivator here. This was posted by a page that's notorious for posting absolute garbage trash. And in their bio, they do state that some of the content they post is staged, this clearly being an example of that. I'm not going to say the page's name because this is clearly just a play for attention regardless, but it doesn't change anything about the situation here. Staging this brain-rotted garbage is at worst misleading and deceptive to the Facebook audience of 70-year-old geriatrics that believe it's real, and at best, just turbo cringe. This shit is just still fucking embarrassing to watch no matter how you spin it. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly talk about it and show you what all the hubbub is about with this food truck ramen delivery service, or lack thereof, I guess. And that's really about it. So yeah. Good evening. I was feeling rather sophisticated, so I threw on a pair of these spectacles. They're not like a prescription or anything. Unless that prescription is an ass beating on blue light. Because these are just some blue light blocking glasses, I think. The main purpose is they're supposed to help you sleep better, and I've been having a hard time going night-night recently, so I'm giving them a whirl to see if they help at all. This isn't like a hashtag ad or anything, it's just I know most of you haven't seen me in glasses, so I wanted to explain the jump scare here, because I've learned it's always an alarming situation when I don't look exactly the same like a goddamn cartoon character. So anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to make fun of some losers, some turbo douchebags that just recently embarrassed themselves. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen the clip. I don't know if I can show the clip, so I'm just going to show an image from it and explain what happened. Yesterday was Gamescom, which is a huge gaming showcase where a lot of trailers and a lot of information come out about games that are coming up. And it's something a lot of people tune into. It's hosted by Jeff Keighley, and pretty much right off rip for the presentation, a rowdy little rascal in the audience went up on stage with his goofy, glue-sniffing sidekick and did a little unholy fusion dance of cringe, just interrupting the whole thing for this.
Don't be jealous. I'm not allowed to say anything about it. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, guys. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Really disappointed. They're disappointed. That's just so disappointing. This is such a special night for so many developers.
Goober really tried to emulate Matan. I'm sure most of you remember the Bill Clinton kid from last year. After the Game of the Year award was given out, he went on to the mic and said that he wants to dedicate the award to his reformed rabbi, Bill Clinton. And it actually, blew up his online presence as a result of that. And this absolute goofball thought he could get the same thing happen to him. So he went up on stage, tried the same thing basically, and got 0 clout, and nobody laughed. It was just met with sighs and boos. Oh brother, this guy stinks. And he wasn't alone. Most people don't even realize that there was a friend of his that went up there with him. So if you freeze frame right here, and I feel like I'm getting in a fucking some kind of film Easter egg here where I have to break it down in order for you to see the hidden messages. There is another guy on stage who is not supposed to be there. He's the guy doing this pose, are you not entertained? And the answer was a resounding no. Nobody was. This is lame as fuck. He had the gall to put his online handles on his shirt, thinking that people would flock to it and be like, wow, that was such a good troll. But what's so good is no one even realized he was there. This man was basically invisible. I had to catch him like some kind of ghost in a photograph. I had to freeze frame because I thought I caught a glimpse of something, and it was this dumb asshole. So he tried to get, clout out of it even more desperately than his friend who just went up there with the Bill Clinton wants GTA 6 line. He actually put his handles here, and nobody saw it. The camera cut away too quick to see it, and even if you do pause it, it's too blurry because he was moving too fast for it to actually pick up what the words say. And just when you thought the L couldn't get any bigger here, what if I told you this isn't that one guy's first time doing it? A couple years ago, he went on a different show in Germany and basically did the same routine but without Bill Clinton. He just said, GTA 6, where's GTA 6? And got water thrown on him and kicked out. It's just so pathetic. extraordinarily desperate for just an ounce of attention. And he doesn't even get that. People just boo and move on, completely forgetting about this guy. It already happened to him once a couple years ago, so he said, you know what? What about second breakfast? And tries it again. This time he tried to follow the recipe that Matan laid down, but he was unable to get in the kitchen and get the same result here. He tried to copy his homework but failed. So he got no clout, no attention, nothing out of it. Just a complete waste. Legitimately just a massive waste. And his friend, even bigger waste. They need to be stricter with security here. This has to be a wake-up call. Last year was bad enough because Matan was on stage for like the entire acceptance speech. He was on stage for like 15 minutes and no one did shit. No one recognized he wasn't supposed to be there. This guy walked right up, no problem, no questions asked, and also lingered for quite some time, him and his friend. Like, that's just dangerous. That is just dangerous. The security has got to be improved at these kind of events. Otherwise, people are going to stop going to them from the industry because it's just downright not safe. You could have an absolute fucking lunatic in the crowd that goes up that's doing more than just saying Bill Clinton. Like, it's pretty crazy that they haven't taken those steps to ensure this doesn't happen again. Because now it's happened twice. Also, I just wish Jeff Keighley was a little bit more mean in a situation like this. Him telling them that it's disappointing, like he's right, it definitely is disappointing and pathetic stuff, but go a little harder. This is that kind of special, embarrassing moment that will haunt you for the rest of your life, and I just wish Jeff Keighley put that little cherry on top of the cake. Like, I would have laughed my little tookus off if Jeff Keighley just hit them with like a sarcastic, haha, good one. Just something. Because this was a flop. And just imagine Jeff Keighley driving the nail even deeper. Just in the moment, making sure that he rubs their nose in it. Like, damn, you know, I got paid a visit by the doofus committee here. You came on stage, you stunk it up with this cringe. What a waste of time. Like, I just wish he had done something to, like, really highlight to their face how embarrassing this should be for them. Now, obviously, I think these two didn't get, like, thrown in the slammer or anything. They probably just got trespassed from the venue or something, maybe. I don't even really know. But no doubt they went home super giddy to see the response, hoping that their follower numbers got pumped up or something, and this stirred a big controversy. And I can only imagine the shock and disgust that washed over them when they realized nobody fucking cared. Nobody knew who they were. People quickly made fun of them and moved on. It didn't even trend. There were just like 2 posts about it, one from Zexerto. It was just like 500 comments in total across both posts, and people couldn't even be bothered to throw tomatoes. They'd either just leave a picture of Matan and saying like, the worst copycat attempt I've ever seen, or not even that much, just something like weak and moving on. This was probably one of the worst plays for attention I've ever seen. It's got me talking about it though, but that's only because I love to roll around in the mud of silliness, and this is quite silly. They tried so fucking hard to get some kind of attention from this. One of them tried twice, and both attempts fell right on their fucking face. It just, nothing, less than nothing out of this for them. Just now, a little Boy Scout badge of shame that they can both remember fondly, I guess. I'm really hoping this doesn't become some new trend. This is the second time it's happened, and hopefully the last one. I think it should be buried after this last awful attempt here. I'm hoping this Bill Clinton, charging the stage meme doesn't continue past this. And I really do hope they start upping the security and actually taking security seriously at the upcoming events. That way this kind of shit doesn't even have a chance of happening at like the upcoming Game Awards or anything. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's really about it. So yeah. The goofball finally admitted it and is facing real repercussions for his reckless, ridiculous, stupid stunt of crashing his plane for YouTube views. I'm about to blow a kazoo right now to celebrate. It feels so great. Now, a year ago I made a video talking about a situation with a YouTuber named Trevor Jacobs, who made a video, a sponsored video by the way, where he took off in his plane wearing a parachute, which is unusual for a pilot to just have a parachute strapped on him, as I understand it. And while flying the plane, he's like, oh, jeepers, Jiminy Christmas, something's gone wrong. We've lost the engine. And he has like 9 different GoPros set up, and then he just bails out of the plane like he had just accidentally pressed triangle in GTA. He just ejects from the plane and parachutes out with his selfie stick, of course, making sure to get all of the right angles, and then the plane just unpiloted free flies around and then eventually crashes into a mountain. Now, the reason I put an emphasis on the sponsored part of this video is because that played a role in his motivation to crash this plane for views. He said it was part of the sponsorship deal, so I imagine he wanted that shit to bang. So in his deranged little mind, he cooked up this unhinged idea of crashing his plane on purpose and parachuting out. Now, it's extremely dangerous, obviously, because he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. You know, it's not like he's the weather master. He wasn't on the ground doing some kind of fucking sacred wind dance or air bending to make sure the plane crashed into a mountain with nobody around. And even then, there could have been a hiker on the mountain or anything like that. But also, there's a town nearby where it crashed, so what very well could have happened is the plane could have just kept going, gliding, and then eventually being like a fucking terrorist attack on that town with the plane crashing through a business or a house or something. Just from top to bottom, the absolute dumbest fucking idea a pilot could ever have. And everyone immediately knew that something was fishy here. Everyone immediately pinned exactly what happened, that this was a planned viral stunt. Because in the video, you know, when shit's hitting the fan, he's like, zoinks! It's all going awry. He made no attempt to fix anything, correct anything. His first instinct was to jump out of the plane with a selfie stick filming him and the plane behind him, and then parachuting to the ground. And also, everyone immediately called out how fucking weird it was that he was flying with a parachute strapped to him already to begin with. That's not normal. That's not something most pilots do. So all of the red flags were immediately being tripped. Everyone was sounding the alarm that this was a planned ejection and viral stunt to crash the plane for the sponsor deal. And now the Johnny Sins of pilots is fully admitting it. He's just taken all the egg on his face. He is squealing. He's currently pleading guilty to the obstruction of a federal investigation by cleaning up the site of the crash. This is in reference to Jacob going out of his way to make sure that he gets the wreckage and destroyed it himself, which you obviously can't fucking do, especially with a high-profile maneuver like this, fucking crashing a plane. So it just goes over the situation here. So he's in a plea agreement, and he said that he filmed the video as part of a product sponsorship deal, and he's looking at a potential 20 years in the slammer for it, which it sounds about par for the course. Honestly, it's just lucky no one fucking died doing this. Again, he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. This could have been an unbelievable disaster, even more so than it already was. So he agreed to the plea deal and one felony count of destruction and concealment with intent to obstruct a federal investigation. He reported the crash to the National Transportation Safety Board, who said he was responsible for preserving the wreckage. According to the plea agreement, Mr. Jacob later claimed he did not know the location of the site, but he did and returned by helicopter and secured and removed the wreckage, which he later destroyed. So he's expected to make his initial court appearance in the coming weeks, and his pilot's license was revoked last year. All this for a drop of YouTube attention, potentially 20 years in prison, because you're a starved little clout goblin who needed your fix. You needed your belly full. This has to be one of the most degenerate, terminally online ideas I've ever seen cooked up by somebody, to not only reach a position in your life where you're like, I'm going to crash my expensive plane for views on my YouTube channel, but then to go through with it and then try and cover up all the evidence. I don't know how anywhere along the way he didn't stop and think, wow, this is going to fuck me. Because I can't even imagine a world where he would have got away with this. There was no set of circumstances where he would have somehow gotten through all of this without a problem. Everyone knew immediately that this was a planned ejection from the start. Nothing about it looked authentic or genuine. It was all so fucking cringe. Because even when he lands, after the parachuting, because he ejects from the plane, like, immediately. The second he sees, like, a fly hits the windshield, he's like, oh shit, I'm out. And then he just dives out there. And then the rest of the video is spent with him hiking and giving, like, motivational and inspirational speeches like, man, this is all part of God's plan. The Lord put that parachute on my back today. I woke up and while brushing my teeth, I had a feeling, a tingle in my tummy that told me, wear a parachute today, Trevor. And I listened to that little tingler in my stomach and it saved my life. Sometimes you just get a premonition, you gotta follow through with it, everyone. Sometimes there's a divine plan for you, and that plan for me today was to wear this parachute to save myself from a catastrophic accident. God damn it. golly gee. And then he hikes over to the wreckage, and then he's like, oh, God, look at this. This is terrible. I can't believe this happened. Why? Where did it all go wrong? It's a horrible video. He's a horrible actor. The whole plan was beyond ridiculous. It's just crazy. It's craziness. Jacob also admitted in his plea agreement that he intended to make money through the video. Fucking obviously, that was clearly the main motivator here, that internet clout and ad revenue from the video. He also admitted to lying to federal investigators after submitting an aircraft accident incident report and falsely claimed the plane fully lost power roughly half an hour after takeoff, the news release said. Also, it's pretty clear to everyone watching the video, the plane doesn't exactly just lose power out of nowhere. Everything that happens in the plane in the video actually just seems like a Disney ride. Like, it is just very fucking silly. It seems like that kind of shit that you have is like the pre-ride entertainment when you're waiting in line at Disney. It's embarrassing. And it's so poorly acted that it immediately tipped off people as stupid as me who have no clue about aircraft or anything aviation related. And I was like, yeah, this had to be fake. All of it was so clearly a stunt, a viral play for that ad revenue and that sponsorship bucks. Jacob also lied to a Federal Aviation Administration safety inspector when he said the airplane's engine had quit, and because he could not identify any safe landing options, he had to parachute out of the plane. And again, if you watch the video, he doesn't look for any safe landing options. He doesn't look anywhere except for where his selfie stick was. The closest thing that even comes to a panic is him trying to locate his selfie stick so he can make sure to get good footage. Everything else, he didn't even bother going through. There was no lists of checks that he was making to try and get the engine back online or trying to glide it to safety, looking for a safe landing spot. The dude actually just boot scooting boogies right out of the plane, letting it crash behind him. Well, not behind him, because it still like flew on its own for a little while before crashing into the side of a mountain. But yeah, overall, it is so nice to see him just fully admitting all of this. I mean, we all knew it was fake from the beginning. This isn't like a surprise to anybody. But it's nice to finally just get it from his mouth, and 20 years in prison for it sounds about par for the course. This could have ended a lot worse. Again, there was a town nearby. This could have just killed random people, all for this man's YouTube views. It's so ridiculous. So, just wanted to give a little update to this because when I was streaming today, watching the Moist Esports Rocket League squad absolutely pop off, chat made me aware that Trevor Jacob was finally facing the repercussions and just openly admitting all of it. So right after the games today, I went, checked everything with a big smile on my face, and I figured it was worth updating all of you who may have been, aware of the story but not following it that closely like I was. So looking like the happy ending here. Hopefully he does face that prison time because he absolutely deserves it. That's about it. See ya. I want to quickly address something that I've been ignoring the last few days. The reason I've been wearing so many black t-shirts is because my white t-shirts were being washed and I forgot that they were still in the hamper in the laundry room, so I've just been grabbing black t-shirts after my showers. That's it. There's no deeper meaning to it. Now anyway, I want to share with you a video that is probably one of the most embarrassing things I've seen someone post on their own accord. This is a video that you couldn't torture me enough to release. This is something that I would try to bury. I would spend every dollar I've ever earned in order to erase this video from the fucking internet because it is so unbelievably cringe. This is something that I would take to my grave, and even after I'm dead, would still have blushing cheeks and feel shame for having ever filmed. And this is something that they freely posted on their own. It's a group of kids that are harassing McDonald's employees.
Walk into the back of McDonald's again!
Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating. These are actual milk-drinking, diaper-shitting children. But that doesn't excuse the behavior, and it's mainly the reason I want to talk about this, because they get away with doing all kinds of degenerate shit because they know the authorities can't fully punish them, so they always just get slaps on the wrist, if that. Which just allows these clout-hungry little goblins to continue doing this degenerate shit for views on TikTok, and then they grow up into just fucking losers. I understand you can't just throw these 13-year-olds in jail for any of this, but there has to be some kind of punishment to fit the crime. Okay, you kids went on video to harass these McDonald's workers, so we're going to your house and we're taking away your Xbox, and we're repossessing all of your Fortnite V-Bucks and deleting your account. There just gotta be something, because clearly they're not getting discipline from their parents at home, probably just being sat down in front of an iPad having their fucking brains rot, so they think this is a good idea, and that the only thing that matters in the world is internet views, so they keep coming up with dumb shit like this, harassing McDonald's workers, and that's just the gateway drug. In 5 years, next they'll be doing like the fucking Kia challenge where they're stealing cars, and then next it's charging people in a Walmart parking lot with a knife, and then they get themselves shot.
As you can see, I'm walking, yeah? I'm walking. Let's go, let's check the inspection. It's the Mizzy. I'm a white from Mizzy. Alright, let's check the inspection. I'm walking, let's check the inspection. Thank you very much. Inspection.
It's a sensory overload because the kid who filmed it is also doing voiceover after the fact, so it's overlapping. It sounds like you're caught in like a Dormammu time loop. It's just constant words and nonsense. It sounds like when you're playing Chivalry 2 and people are just spamming voice lines all over the place. It sounds like when the fucking nematodes show up to the Krusty Krab. It is miserable to listen to. Also, I have no idea why they were making all of those clicking noises when they entered the McDonald's. I'm guessing that's just them trying to be quirky with their signature style. But really the background noise that should have been playing whenever they roll up on something should be circus music, because they're a bunch of clowns. Now, I know all of this sounds mean because they're actual kids, so I'm picking on children, but god damn it, the authorities aren't doing anything about it, so I might as well step in and try and, like, you know, deliver some hard truths that what they're doing is fucking cringe and embarrassing and they should feel shame for it. Like, this is awful. It's fucking stupid. They should be insulted for it. Like, especially now, so that way they'll stop doing it.
Inspection, crazy. I have to check the inspection, I have to check the fries and everything. But man, I have to check everything just in case. And me and my bro, we got locked in there, bro. Look, me and my brother. They locked us in it. They locked us in it.
It just doesn't stop. So they're in the back of the kitchen, they're like walking around, like touching some of this shit, bothering all of the workers, just being an actual headache. Just a blemish on society here. Just for nothing other than TikTok views. It's so fucking juvenile. And yes, I know they're kids, goddammit, I get it. But this is fucking trash. This shouldn't be encouraged. Hats off to the McDonald's workers for taking swift action here. They immediately call the police and then close the door so that way they're trapped in that one location till the police get there. And also, I'm gonna give a little free advice to the kid that filmed this. Give up. Making videos is just not for you. Like, the whole idea behind this with walking to the back of the kitchen is garbage in the first place, but also you clearly have no fucking clue what you're doing. You're doing voiceover while all of the other words are being spoken, so it's just pure commotion and pandemonium. No one can make out anything that's going on here. It sounds like we're listening to Charlie Brown's parents. It's fucking awful. Just stop. Just try and commit to something else that's not fucking pranks or whatever this was supposed to be.
My legs were sinking. My heart was bum. I was scared. Like Ronaldo. Call the police. Sexual harassment. I'm recording this. I'm recording this.
It literally sounds like they're accidentally emoting. But anyway, you can see that these little scumbags aren't just here doing an innocent prank. Now they're saying that if the police get there, they're going to say that they were sexually harassed by the workers. That's a serious thing to do. I mean, that's a fucking crime to falsely report something like that. That's just downright evil. That's just straight up fucking evil.
Man, then we're outside in the fucking district every fucking time, bro. Bro, what are you gonna do, bro? Come, badness, bro. Record me. What did I do? I was like, hey, girl, record me. You might as well get my number, bro. Hey, you just walked in. You guys do that,
Honestly, this whole video kind of sums up the human brain on TikTok really well. It is actual constant fucking noise. Just gibberish. Literal random fucking noises at all seconds because they didn't want a single millisecond to go by without some kind of fucking noise because there needs to be perpetual jingling keys on that platform, which is why there's always like Subway Surfers underneath every video. It's kind of frightening. I really do wonder what TikTok has done to the human brain and if we're going to see any kind of wild effects from that in like 10 years. If people are just going to be completely unable to focus on one thing, they're going to need like multiple things in order to keep their attention.
It's not right. You are not. Why you coming? Let me get told. Why you coming? Boss, can I come out? Why you coming? No, because someone. Boss, can I come out? Can I come out?
It just doesn't fucking stop. It sounds like listening to a team of Pikmin trying to lift something heavy. Now, I know that I kind of insinuated that I view a lot of these things like a failure of parenting, and that's not always the case, and I recognize that. It's kind of wrong of me to assume that kids like this are the product of bad or neglectful parents. Sometimes there are just people that are too far gone, like kids that get too deep into this obsession with internet brownie points, the updates, the likes on TikTok, and no amount of good parenting can kind of curb that. It's just a lesson that the kids have to learn themselves when they realize that all of that effort was wasted and that they've just turned into a fucking loser from chasing it.
Tell him again, bro. What? I ain't scared. You ain't scared. Pussy yours, bro. Come fight me. Come fight me, bro.
I don't know.
Open the door. What, so you gonna let us go or you just gonna stay here? Because I'm gonna tell the police that you strangled me because you strangled my neck. I have video footage of you strangling my neck.
It's the teenagers.
Yeah, you never strangled my neck. But I just said like you strangled my
16.
neck so you could like get me out.
Another one of those false claims that could ruin a person's life if they tried that. So now, not only were they going to accuse them of sexual harassment, but also accuse this guy of strangling the kid's neck. And he even admits, like, yeah, that guy never did that, I was just going to say that. Which is fucking crazy. That's nuts. That is just evil. Like, full stop. That is just evil shit.
My neck started to do the stanky last night. Stanky last night, I'll break your ass. Break him. Are you Mendoza, mother? I'm under. We got freed. Bow! Bow! The feds came. Bow!
Yeah, so you just get to walk out after the police get there. I really do think all of the workers handled this pretty well. They immediately called the authorities, kept them there until they got there. It's just a shame that all of that effort was moot, and the kids will likely just come back and do this again for more internet views since this kind of went viral for them. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because there's been like a real rise in kids doing stupid shit in public for the sake of internet views and at the expense of just normal workers. It's really frustrating shit, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon since the kids aren't getting punished for it, so why would they stop? They don't care about like the negative reception they get online. All they care about is the big number they see next to their views. Nowadays, it feels like kids are almost incentivized to be the biggest douchebag possible as early as possible so that way they can start farming views because outrage is the quickest way to like relevancy on TikTok and that TikTok fame that they even mention in this video. Like, they are clearly aware that by being an asshole in public, they're going to get some attention from it. So it's almost like incentivized, and there's just got to be some way to curb that. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. That's about it. So yeah, the only thing more pathetic than an internet prankster is nothing. These degenerate worms whose entire existence revolves around making strangers' lives worse in public so that they can film it and post it online for content are actually the most embarrassing thing humanity has ever produced. And I've mentioned this before, but I actually think making fun of pranksters is an important public service to try and deter other youngsters from growing up to be this kind of failure of a person. So I just learned about a new prankster who has been at the game for over a year, and the only thing he has to show for it is a few arrests and a community of children that just shoot spitballs and make fun of him like a bad birthday party clown. So I'm not going to tell you his name. His name's not important. Don't go out of your way to find and harass him. Don't give him any kind of engagement off of it. I just think he is another great example of the brain rot that's really infested the youth these days here.
When I hop up this counter and break that camera, you gonna be mad. So stop fucking recording me, though.
Make my milkshake and chill out.
I'm not making nothing.
You're not making nothing? Dude, you heard how she talked to me?
I swear that I'm not making nothing. Fuck out of here. All y'all.
Hey!
Inside? I'm not making nothing. You wanna stand here? Stand here. We're not serving y'all. Fuck out of here.
I'll go back there myself and make a damn milkshake, motherfucker.
Over here? I swear to God, shit out of you.
Dude, get the hell out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, I said.
Dude!
Make me, Mr. Sir! Make me!
We gotta go. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yes, the classic prank. Harass customer service employees and be an insufferable asshole. So, this is how I found his content, and it turns out this is all he does. His entire existence is like this perpetual miasma of misery that haunts his community, where he and the after-school cringe club latch onto his ass to suckle a bit of clout out of it, get together, and just make complete strangers' days worse. and then he films it and proudly posts it online. And I do mean proud. This is his pride and joy. Every time he gets arrested, he wears it like a Boy Scout badge of honor. I legitimately couldn't imagine being his parents. The shame would be overwhelming. I would rather my child grow up to be a professional toilet seat kisser than grow up to be a prankster like this kid.
I'll go back there myself and make a damn milkshake, motherfucker.
I swear to God.
A completely flat and hollow threat from this affluent douchebag who I have no doubt has never faced any real repercussions from his actions. And he has the world's worst laugh. His laugh sounds like Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Just some real goofy shit. It's fucking ridiculous. He is like actually biologically engineered through evolution to be the perfect cringe loser. Now, you may have noticed a lot of cuts in this, and that's because, of course, they leave out the context that led to this escalation and exactly what happened here to get to this point. But the manager has spoke up about this situation afterwards. And I almost can't help but appreciate the delusion from the prankster and his friends to think that somehow they look tough here or look cool. Because in this situation, the manager is the biggest W by far. The manager stood his ground, handled everything really well, I thought, and wasn't afraid to like challenge them if this guy really did follow through on his threat to go back there. And if the goof troop really did jump over that counter and attack or do anything stupid like that, they would have 100% ended up on the fuck around and find out matrix, because it turns out the manager is an actual trained fighter. So there's no doubt in my mind he would have beat all their asses, steamed their ham thoroughly. In that video, he does also go over how rude they were being and how everything kept escalating because of them, which of course was cut out from his post about it. Now you're probably wondering how old the doofus committee here is from the pranksters, because the main guy has the face of a 13-year-old boy. But would you believe me if I told you that he's actually 19 years old? There's a video as well as an article going over one of his mini runs-in with authorities, and he says, "How are you my height? I'm 19. I mean, I almost feel bad for him being 19 years old and being stuck with the face of like a 12-year-old Xbox Live Call of Duty gamer. That's rough. Like, there's no doubt he probably feels insecure about that, and that might be why he's lashing out so much against his community around him and turned to the dark side, going down the prankster path, the public nuisance asshole road.
When you guys walk up on people that you guys know don't like you, that have chased you around before, someone's eventually gonna probably beat you guys up.
That's what we're aiming for.
Why?
Low key, just to get some content out of it.
Okay, so you're gonna be the victim of an assault for content.
A super honest answer from a super big douchebag. They keep pushing people, harassing them until they snap, hoping that they'll either attack them or have some kind of big blow up that they can film and post online for content. Heavens to Betsy. What a turbo loser. Yikes. He's giggling and smiling while giving this answer to the officer. He is so delusional. He really thinks that this is his ticket to internet updates, that precious clout and attention online, when in reality, it's most likely just going to be his ticket to the hospital or jail.
What? What?
You guys all walk away.
We didn't even do nothing. Wow. Bro. Yup.
Every time this asshole gets arrested, it's like the happiest moment of his life. It's like Christmas morning every single time he finds himself in a pair of handcuffs, because he's so delusional that he believes that that's going to help the content blow up or help him go viral, and it hasn't. It doesn't. And hopefully it never will. So he just keeps doing these extremely stupid stunts, calling them pranks, harassing just normal people in the world, eventually gets the cops called on him, and then him and his friends are like, "Oh, I can't believe it. What?"
What do you mean?
He's taking pictures.
Yo, who the hell is that?
Stop acting. Stop acting like that, please.
Yo, get that camera off me. Get the hell out of here.
It's okay.
Huh?
It's okay.
Get the hell on out of here.
Good one. This guy just loves treating workers as props for his videos. I still can't believe he's actually 19 years old. He looks like he still needs mommy and daddy to drive him to this Home Depot so he can film these pranks with his buddies. I will probably never understand who actually watches something like that and finds any enjoyment out of it. Even if I was 12 years old, I don't see myself even smiling at it. It's just annoying. As a viewer, and I feel real bad for anyone that is unfortunate enough to be subjected to one of his pranks. Like, I really don't think I'll ever understand why kids grow up wanting to do this, or why kids somehow even get moderately entertained by that.
Jersey.
Don't pet Jersey right now. We're just saying that.
You got me. Yeah, I was thinking he smelled like shit.
What'd you say to my dog?
Yeah, I said I thought your dog smelled like shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here before I let you smell like shit.
Wait, it's a dog, sir.
Get out of here. Man, get out of here.
Calm down.
All right, don't say my dog is this or that. Get the fuck out.
I was just saying the dog smelled like shit, sir.
Good one. Again. Man, Junior, you're really on a hot streak with these bangers. Your dog smells like shit prank. People can't even just relax on a bench outside with their pet without you going out of your way to bother them. Nothing is safe from your cringe apocalypse that you bring with you everywhere you go. Everything this guy and his friends have ever done that I can find is just actual trash. It's just bothering people in the world and calling it a prank. It sucks. It's just public nuisance degeneracy. And I'll always take a little bit of time to make fun of some pieces of shit like this because I think it is an invaluable service to provide. Nobody should end up like this guy or his team here. And they're not really a team. This guy I already know is insufferable to be around. The only reason his friends orbit him is because he has the tiniest bit of clout online and they try and suckle a little bit out of that from his bosom for themselves. That's the only reason they stomach him for however brief a time when they're filming these awful videos together. They're not real friends, it's just a bunch of fake people surrounding themselves with each other and convincing each other that making these pranks is somehow going to get them to the top. It's just fucking pathetic. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.